Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I'm going to be doing a fun video. I've got my top 6 favorite hand cannons sitting here on the table. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts. You'll find a link that you can sign up for Big Daddy Unlimited. They actually have things in stock and usually at a lower price than other places. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. Thank you. So a couple of things about how I plan to do this video. Number one, all of these have been safety checked by both of us, so I'm not going to put you through the suffering of watching me check every one of these. And at the same time, each one of these may have a different purpose for me, but somebody else may have a different use for them. This is just guns that I like because they're big, because they're powerful, and sometimes they actually do have a use. So I needed to get this filmed, of course, before my next fishing trip. So as I go through these, I'm not going to get into a lot of nitpicky specs, even though I will mention a few numbers. We've got full reviews on all of these with all the gory details. But I want to talk more about what makes them unique, what makes them fun. So the first one I picked up is one that, for me, doesn't have a huge number of practical purposes, but it's just fun. It's cool looking, it's big. This is the Smith & Wesson Governor. It's kind of their halo gun, and a lot of these are halo guns for the various manufacturers when it comes at least to the categories they're in. But this one can shoot 410 shot shells, so it's kind of a good carjacker repellent. It can shoot 45 long Colt and 45 ACP with moon clips. The 45 long Colt and the 410, you can actually interchange them in the cylinder. The 45, because of the moon clips, unless you get the smaller little 2 clips, you may have a little less ability to interchange them, and it holds 6. At 30.7 ounces, this is the lightest gun. This is a very nice looking gun. It's a scandium frame. It actually fits well in the hand. It's comfortable to shoot. It handles recoil well. Because even at 30.7, it may be the lightest on the table here, but it's by no stretch of the imagination light. But this is a fun gun. Other people may actually use this for self-defense, and I think it would work quite well for that. It's got a 2.5-inch barrel, so it's going to be fairly maneuverable. And I meant to say it's a 2.75-inch barrel, but it shoots the 2.5-inch 410s, not the 3-inch 410s. Overall, this gun's fun. If you want it for defense, it would actually work quite well for that. Otherwise, it's really fun at the range. Next one I might move over to is a little more practical purpose depending on what you do. This is the Ruger Super Red Hawk. This one is chambered in 454 Cazul. A very, very powerful cartridge. And it holds 6 rounds. With the rubber grip, it does a really good job of absorbing the recoil and preventing beating up your hands. But trust me, when you pull the trigger on this, you know you've pulled the trigger on something. And by the way, this is the Alaskan version, so it has the shorter barrel. This is really designed for the purpose of large predator defense or handgun hunting. Handgun hunting, you might choose to get the longer barrel version, but large predator defense, this gun will take care of it, even up to potentially a grizzly or a polar bear this could see to. Might take 1 or 2 to get it done, but you can get it done. It doesn't have the greatest sights. It has an adjustable rear sight, kind of a U sight, and a blackout front blade. Changing out the front blade might be important if you're wanting to shoot for longer distances, but if this is meant to take care of the grizzly that just stood up right over there, this will kind of get it done fast and effectively. The cartridges this thing shoots are huge, and when you light this thing off inside of an indoor range, it's more potent than a 308 from a feel perspective. All of the components, the top strap, everything is robust on this. 3-point locking on the cylinder, because this is definitely one you don't want getting out of time. This is a big beast, and it's meant to take care of big beasts. This one I will sometimes take when I go out hunting in the woods if I think there's a probability of encountering bear. And yes, I mean, of course it could be used for self-defense, but it's big, it's thick, it's bulky, it's heavy. It is kind of fun to take it to the range, mainly because it's a range stopper. Pull the trigger on this, everybody stops to see what just exploded, because the concussion wave on this and the fireball that comes out of this is pretty impressive. I like this gun. This one I just kind of really enjoy, and when I take it out for a serious purpose like protecting myself against a bear, it gets the job done quite effectively. Let's move on to something less pretty and more utilitarian, the Glock 40. This, at least at the current point, is the largest, physically the largest current production Glock. The Glock 17L, which I don't believe they make currently, is just a hair longer. But this is definitely the most powerful Glock currently made. The 10mm cartridge, especially if you load it with proper ammo, not that lightweight, almost 40 range ammo that you can tend to find in stores. But if you get Buffalo Bore or Underwood, you get quality 10mm with it. It's quite powerful. This is an excellent handgun hunting gun for anything probably under a bear. And for black bear or less, it makes a good repellent. This is good to see into a hog. This is my hunting sidearm. 99% of the time, unless I'm carrying the 454, this is what I roll out with as a sidearm when I go hunting. It only comes in the MOS variant, which more and more Glocks are coming with the MOS. This is one of, not the first, but one of the first MOS guns that Glock came out with. And when they made this platform, they didn't make it in a non-MOS version. Just this is the way it comes. This one holds 15 rounds, being an automatic instead of a revolver. So you've got some capacity to go along with the power of the round. From the perspective of, it's not pretty, it's not ugly. I like the way Glocks look, but they're not beautiful. The Glock doesn't do anything for aesthetics. They do everything for function. All the things that are on here are there to make it work. One thing I like about the Glock, and kind of why I like this for hunting, is the trigger is the same as the trigger in all my other Glocks. So when I'm hunting, if I have to pull my gun, especially in a hurry, I'm not going to have to pay attention to, okay, is this a double action, single action trigger? Is this going to work different? No, it's going to work just like every other Glock that I take to the range on any other day. To me, it's a very utilitarian gun. It is kind of impressive, the size of it, but it's got a job to do and it does it quite well. So this is another one of my favorite hand cannons. So we've looked at the beast, let's go ahead and look at the beauty. So I've got the Colt Delta Elite. This was the first commercially successful 10mm in the United States, and it's a 1911 platform. It's just kind of a beautiful gun. This is kind of the gold standard for 10mm, 9mm, or 10mm 1911s at this point. Now, I know a couple other companies have come out with 10mm 1911s. You got the little that Colt Delta Elite triangle on it, nice textured grips. There may be guns in the 1911s that can challenge this now, but for the longest time, this was it. I know they discontinued it for a while, then they came back. This has got a nice 1911 trigger. It's got nice 3-dot sights. This, to me, could be used as a hunting sidearm, but there's no way I'm slogging through a swamp with this. This is a pretty gun. This is a gun I take to the range to enjoy. Could use it for self-defense. But mostly I take this out to enjoy it, to enjoy the mechanics of it. When you shoot this thing, like any 1911, you feel the machine operating. The Glock is kind of surgical. You pull the trigger, it goes bang, it cycles, it's ready to go bang again. This, you feel the slide cycle, you feel the mechanics of it. There's something about shooting a 1911 that just feels nice. Then when you add to that the power of the 10mm cartridge and the nice thump you get, because I like the feel of the 10mm recoil. It's potent, but it's not obscene, it's not twisty, it's not nasty, it's just a nice solid thump. To me, firing this puts a smile on my face. So let's put down this, and I guess we'll go for another beast, kind of deciding which to go with. I'm going to go for another beast. This beast is kind of beautiful, but it's beautiful in a monster way. The thing is just big, it's huge, it's heavy. At 58.8 ounces, this happens to be the lightweight aluminum frame, so this is a light Desert Eagle as Desert Eagles go. But everything about this is just big. It's got a compensator. Of course, this one's chambered in 50 AE because, I mean, why you don't chamber a Desert Eagle in anything else. And if you do, it's because you've bought the barrels to swap out to the smaller calibers to make it cheaper to shoot. But you've got the 50 AE because kind of that is a Desert Eagle. It's got rails all over the place. It's got one on the top, it's got one on the bottom. This is a Mark 19. There's been different variations of this over the years. Interesting point about this one, I'm going to pull this one open because I want to show the bolt. It's got an AR-15 style bolt. This one actually is gas operated, like any other rifle would be. The barrel doesn't move, as you saw it. The barrel was fixed as I was going through it, and that's not because it's blowback. A lot of times when you have a fixed barrel, it's because you got a blowback gun. Nope, this is gas operated. There's a cylinder in it, there's a spring system, and everything else. These are actually fairly reliable. On top of that, they're very popular with Hollywood. The 50 AE is a potent enough cartridge to take care of probably black bear and down. It could be used as a hunting sidearm, but it's big, it's bulky. You're going to walk in circles because you're going to have all that weight on one side. It's going to tilt you, and you're just going to walk around in a circle if you're out in the woods with this thing. But when you show up at the range with this, it has a presence. It has a Hollywood presence. When you pull this thing out in a movie, everybody stops to look at the guy with the Desert Eagle. Nobody's paying attention to the guy with the Glock or the Smith & Wesson. They're looking at the guy that's got the Desert Eagle. It's that presence. It doesn't have the greatest sights. Actually, I probably would say, quite honestly, the sights suck. Narrow black out rear sight, black front blade. In anything other than the best conditions, it's kind of hard to see the sights. But like a lot of the guns on this table, you don't have to be particularly accurate with your shot. As long as you hit, you're going to get the attention of whatever it is that you're pointing this thing towards. It holds 7 rounds. And I've got to show you the magazine on this, because the magazine's almost like a rifle magazine. It's just great big, because the cartridge on this thing is huge. This is one of the largest physically largest automatic cartridges that's out there. Overall, the Desert Eagle is just a Desert Eagle. There's really not much else to say about it. The last little pretty I've got on the table is now back into the beauty territory. This is a Colt Anaconda. It's chambered in .44 Magnum. This is the 2021 version of it, so it's kind of the remake. With what they did is they did stay true to the intent and design of the original Colt Anaconda, but they improved a few things. They strengthened this. They strengthened the fire control group. It's a little stronger up through here. They kind of took care of a few things that were little potential issues with the older one, but it's a long distance phone call from the front to the back of this thing, almost 15 inches long. And it's also the heaviest gun on the table, 59.1 ounces. Because of the longer barrel and all of the stainless steel that's in this thing, this one has the 8-inch barrel, there's just a lot of gun. You grip it all the way back here, and in the next time zone, you've got the muzzle. This one actually has decent sights. It's a blackout rear, it's adjustable, and it has a red front sight. And I actually found that I could shoot this quite well, despite not being a fan of blackout rear sights as much. I could shoot this well. It's got an awesome trigger on it. The rubber grip and just the overall mass of the thing handles .44 Magnum quite well. It's like shooting 9mm when you fire this. It makes pretty good bang, impressive bang. Got the vent rib barrel. This is just a very nice, very fun to shoot gun. You could use this for hunting. You could use it for self-defense. By the time you get this thing all the way out, if you got this in a holster, the guy might have gotten bored and gone home by the time you fully clear leather with it. From a perspective of hunting and things like that, it would work against most bears, probably anything under a grizzly. But it's not all that maneuverable. It's kind of heavy. And kind of similar to the Desert Eagle, you'd probably walk in circles carrying this thing on your hip. But when you pull this out, people see it. It's an interesting gun. I do really enjoy this gun. So that kind of gives you the Colt Anaconda, which is the largest in the Snake series of guns that Colt has been resurrecting. Overall, I like all of these. If my boat's rolling over and I can only snag and grab one of them, I'll probably save the Anaconda. I think it's probably the coolest on the table. It's definitely the rarest. They've been out for over half a year, and they're still virtually non-existent. It's not the most expensive one on the table, but it's close. But there's just something cool about this, and I do suspect that, like the originals, these will actually have some value as we get further down the road once they stop making them again, which I imagine they will over time. But all of these have cool factor to them. All of them are nice guns. All of them are a little pricier than your average 9mm, but all of them are worth it for whatever the price they are for the interest of them. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Patreon, Instagram, Twitter. We're kind of everywhere. And thank you.